Our final wine, Eduardo, is the iconic wine here out of Spring Mountain here in Napa Valley. You drive 25 minutes north. I don't even have to tell you exactly how to get there or where it's at.
We could ride the bikes there.
We've been there. We could,
that's
right?
good. Yeah.
I don't know if I've never attempted actually to get up this. There's a couple of switchbacks that are like that, and my bike would fall backwards on me.
Sounds like a challenge. Let's try it.
However, the company, this is one of the original, like, really great wineries on Spring Mountain. Gosh darn it. We're always really excited to offer these wines, especially in an excellent vintage like 2019. Robert Keenan established this vineyard, or purchased this vineyard back in 1974, established it in 1977, the year I was born. So, when you're talking about Keenan, I think of Spring Mountain. I think of that dark, rich kind of organic soil. It's definitely one of the more cooler, kind of wetter climates, very forested. I think of other wineries that are in the area, Pride Mountain, Cane, La Colla's now there, right? And I mean, there's some really great company, some neighbors just right by.
Barnett.
One of my favorite, Philip Togny.
Philip Togny,
gosh darn it.
Yeah.
So, like, right there in the middle of one of the sweet spots of one of the best AVAs, the mountain AVAs in all of Napa. And so we're offering a Cabernet Sauvignon here, and I really love the Merlot, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I think,
the mailbox Merlot.
When you're talking about, Merlot in great Cabernet spots, obviously they also make really, really great wines as well. But this Cabernet, definitely that minty tobacco, kind of menthol, kind of crushed bay leaf, that Laurel Bay.
Graphite, pencil shaving.
This is
herbal.
kind of masculine, broader in structure, but usually, and I haven't even tasted it yet, usually there's that classic Spring Mountain mid-palate. There's always some richness in the mid-palate for me in Spring Mountain. And I think it's because there's so much forest. I think a lot of the vineyards get quite shaded. And I always just kind of get this kind of organic soil kind of profile. I should probably taste it, right?
Yes, please.
I could talk about the way it smells for so long.
The aromatics definitely are giving. It's like a magician's hat, just pulling things out of it. One name of the game here is stamina. This wine has so much length and power under the hood without being like lush and juicy or tiring. This is so lean. It's like just a wine that works out
has
religiously.
Persistence to it, right?
Yes.
It has persistence and plenty of detail. Great. It's got a good broad structure, but it's also chiseled. There's nothing to it's out of place. It's a little bit more muscular in its profile. It's not so soft and so open that it's just a gorgeous wine. And the oak really kind of seems like it's really kind of playing a background, like structural kind of like support role. I don't pick up too much dominating oak. I really pick up the flora and the fauna. I've been up, in Spring Mountain, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 dozen times in my life in different wineries. I've never ridden my bike up there, but I have ridden down it before. And it's just when you're driving through these forested areas on these switchbacks, and everything's dotted with sunlight, right? The sunlight doesn't blare on anything. You can smell the fauna. You can smell the leaves that are kind of slightly decaying, right? But there's this freshness in the air, always.
That is.
There's ferns growing on different sides of the roads as long as they're not in direct sunlight, and you can kind of smell this air. You wouldn't believe that you're actually in Napa Valley when you taste some of the warmth in some of the other wines. But when you're in places like in certain parts of Mount Veeder, which is just to the south, maybe like 12 miles. But when you get to like Spring Mountain area, it's just forest. It feels like forest.
It is a pretty unique.
This wine smells
AVA.
exactly like where it comes from. And that's kind of what I'm trying to get across. It's a fantastic wine. It definitely showcases Spring Mountain, and it's one of the founding wineries up there. Like not necessarily a founding winery, but one of the
pioneers, if you will.
One of the great wines that have been making wines consistently, and now it's been almost 5 decades now.
Absolutely. Pairing by Chef Christopher and the team at Birdsong, they suggested this beautiful dish they do. It's their play on a vegetarian. It's called all beef. It's hedgehog mushrooms, a little hazelnut, meatiness, fattiness, richness, which if you had to find an alternative to the classic tomahawk steak to pair with this, that's pretty money.